The rise of Apple. How a garage startup became a trillion-dollar empire. In the world of business legends, few stories are as iconic as Apple's. What began as a humble computer project in a California garage would go on to redefine technology, design, and global consumer culture. This is the full journey, from underdog startup to the world's most valuable company. This is the story of Apple. It all started in 1976. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne founded Apple Computer in Cupertino, California. Wozniak built the first prototype, the Apple I, a single-board computer sold to hobbyists. Jobs had the vision. Wayne, who would later sell his stake for $800, drew the first logo and helped draft early contracts. Their second product, the Apple II, changed everything. Released in 1977, it became one of the first mass-market personal computers. With color graphics, expandable memory, and a sleek plastic case, it felt like the future. By 1980, Apple went public, making Jobs and Wozniak multimillionaires. But success brought new challenges. In 1983, Jobs recruited John Sculley, PepsiCo's CEO, to lead Apple. It was under Sculley's tenure that Apple launched the Macintosh in 1984, a groundbreaking machine with a graphical user interface and a mouse. The launch ad, inspired by Orwell's 1984, became a cultural moment. But the Mac's sales were disappointing. Tensions between Jobs and Sculley escalated. In 1985, Jobs was forced out of his own company. He left to start Next, a new computer company, and invested in Pixar, which would later change animation forever. Meanwhile, Apple struggled. Through the late 80s and early 90s, it released a slew of products, some successful, others not. The company was profitable but directionless. It lacked focus. Microsoft's Windows 95 exploded in popularity, eroding Apple's market share. By the mid-1990s, Apple was in crisis. Its product line was bloated. Its OS was outdated, and it was losing money. In a last-ditch move, Apple acquired Next in 1997, bringing back Steve Jobs. Jobs returned with a vengeance. He slashed products, simplified the company's strategy, and focused on innovation and design. In 1998, Apple released the iMac, a colorful all-in-one desktop that became a design icon. It marked the start of Apple's rebirth. In the early 2000s, Apple made a bold pivot. It launched the iPod in 2001, a sleek music player that changed how we listened to music. Then came iTunes. Then the iTunes Store. Apple wasn't just a computer company anymore. It was a media company. But the real revolution came in 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto the stage and introduced the iPhone. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. The iPhone wasn't just a product. It was a platform. A new era of mobile computing. With the App Store launch in 2008, Apple built an entire ecosystem. Developers flooded in. Millions of apps were downloaded, and the iPhone became the center of people's digital lives. From there, Apple launched the iPad, AirPods, Apple Watch, and countless software innovations. It perfected the art of hardware-software integration. Its stores became temples of modern retail. Its product launches became global events. After Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, Tim Cook took over as CEO. Many doubted his ability to lead. But under Cook, Apple grew even more, becoming the first company to hit a $1 trillion market cap in 2018, then $2 trillion in 2020, and briefly crossing $3 trillion in 2022. Today, Apple is more than just a tech company. It's a brand, a lifestyle, a global ecosystem of devices, services, and software used by over 1 billion people worldwide. But behind the minimalism and polish is a story of resilience, of risk-taking, of visionary leadership, painful mistakes, and constant reinvention. From garage startup to corporate titan, Apple's journey is proof of what relentless focus, great design, and daring ambition can achieve. Apple's AI crisis explained. In the fast-moving world of artificial intelligence, one tech giant has remained unusually quiet: Apple. While Microsoft integrated ChatGPT into everything from Word to Windows, and Google rolled out Gemini across its products, Apple stood on the sidelines. The company that once defined innovation was eerily silent. No chatbot, no LLM, no viral demos. And that silence wasn't just curious, it was dangerous. This is the story of Apple's AI crisis. A deep dive into how the most valuable company in the world fell behind in the AI race, why it happened, and whether Apple can still catch up. Let's rewind. Siri, Apple's virtual assistant, launched back in 2011, years before Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. It was groundbreaking at the time. You could ask it to send a text, schedule an event, or tell you the weather. For a moment, Apple looked like the clear leader in voice AI. But Siri didn't evolve. Its architecture was rigid, its capabilities limited, and its updates slow. Apple's obsession with privacy, while admirable, restricted the company's ability to collect the vast amounts of data needed to train smarter models. Internally, Siri's development was plagued by organizational chaos. Reports later revealed that even Apple engineers joked about how outdated Siri had become. Meanwhile, the competition raced ahead. Google built Assistant on top of its unmatched search and data empire. Amazon integrated Alexa into smart homes and shopping. And by 2022, OpenAI changed the entire conversation with ChatGPT. Suddenly, Siri felt ancient. It couldn't hold a conversation. It couldn't summarize a news article. It couldn't generate ideas or help with homework. It became a button people accidentally pressed and immediately disabled. Apple knew it had a problem. In response, the company launched a secretive initiative called Project Ajax. This internal effort aimed to build a large language model, a next-gen AI, from scratch. Unlike Siri's rule-based system, Ajax would be a transformer model, capable of learning patterns in human language, generating responses and understanding context. The challenge? Apple was years behind. It didn't have the datasets. It didn't have the model architecture. It didn't have the research output. And it didn't have the public trust that companies like OpenAI had built through early engagement. So while Microsoft was showcasing Copilot writing emails, Apple was running silent tests of Ajax behind closed doors. Some insiders said the tech was promising. It could summarize emails, generate code, and even act as a developer assistant. But Apple didn't know how to ship it. Unlike its competitors, Apple doesn't do beta. It doesn't release unpolished tools. It doesn't want hallucinations, biased outputs, or embarrassing screenshots going viral. For a company built on trust and polish, the chaotic world of AI was a reputational minefield. This caution created a paradox. Apple had the resources, the talent, and the hardware to deliver AI, but no clear way to bring it to users. In typical Apple fashion, it wanted something seamless, something private, something that just works. Meanwhile, the AI race accelerated. Google launched Gemini. Meta open-sourced Llama. Microsoft embedded GPT-4 in everything. Even Adobe rolled out AI-powered creative tools. Everywhere you looked, AI was reshaping industries. And Apple? It had Dynamic Island. This growing perception that Apple was behind started to worry investors. Analysts questioned the company's AI roadmap. Fans wondered if Apple had lost its edge. The company that once led the smartphone revolution now looked like a follower in the next big shift. But behind the scenes, Apple was busy. It wasn't just working on Ajax. It was rethinking its entire approach to AI. The company's engineers focused on making models smaller, faster, and capable of running on device. No cloud required. This aligned with Apple's privacy-first philosophy and its hardware strength. The result? Apple Intelligence. Announced at WWDC, Apple Intelligence wasn't a chatbot. It wasn't a standalone app. It was a platform, a quiet layer of intelligence integrated into every device. Email summarization, smart replies, context-aware suggestions, Siri reimagined. And it was all powered by Ajax, or rather, a new generation of Ajax optimized for edge computing. The rollout was careful. Features would arrive in iOS 18, macOS 15, and other platforms. Apple emphasized privacy. Everything would run on-device, or on Apple's own encrypted servers. No third-party sharing. No advertising data collection. Just helpful and visible AI. Critics were split. Some called it underwhelming. Others praised its pragmatism. But Apple wasn't trying to win the AI arms race with big demos. It wanted to win by becoming indispensable. Think about it. Apple controls the chips, the operating system, the App Store, the developer tools. It doesn't need to compete with OpenAI or Google. It needs to make AI feel native, private, and essential on its own devices. And that's where Apple's real strength lies. By embedding intelligence into the user experience, rather than forcing users to open a new app, it's redefining what AI means. Still, challenges remain. Apple's Ajax model is smaller than GPT-4. Its training data is more limited. It lacks the open research community that OpenAI or Google maintain. And it still hasn't proven that Siri can truly evolve into a competitive assistant. But the company is moving. It's investing billions into AI chips. It's building new data centers. It's hiring aggressively from top AI labs. And it's beginning to publish more research. Apple may have stumbled early, but its long game is powerful. And if it succeeds, it could define the future of ambient, trustworthy, and invisible AI. So is Apple's AI crisis real? Yes, but but it's also the kind of crisis that precedes a reinvention. In the end, Apple might not be the first to market, but if history repeats, it might still be the one to shape the market. Thanks for watching How They Built Biz. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into tech, business, and the companies changing the world.